Good morning. I want to talk about the four categories of the false motivation that we have, and I will do it in English, even if the first slide is in French. Don't worry, it's okay. It will be in French. It would be in English. I'm sorry. Okay. But where does our vanity comes from? This is the major point, because we know already, and you have been taught that we have a big ego, we have a big vanity, and this is due to this is why we have so many problems in our life. And you know that excitement, when we are excitable, yes, of course, we can decide to be excitable or not. If I have eaten enough, I can look at some food. I won't be angry at all, and hungry at all. So the excitation is something that I can control. But if anyway I am excitable, and most of the time we are excitable, because unless we are concentrated on something very important and doing otherwise, we might be very excitable. When we go outside, we see something in a shop, or we and so on, we at once we can be excited. So the excitement creates a desire, and it's a psychic function that transforms excitement into desire. That we have seen that, and always with the two components, which is representation and affect. That means the image of something, and all the emotion, all the feelings that we have, and we put with this representation. The excitement can be external or internal. We have seen that it's coming from the imagination, and the imagination can create like the reality, the same excitation. Okay, so that's where we are, and we start from the beginning. And what we have to do is we have to listen to our above consciousness. We have to listen to the right little voice inside, not the bad one, but the right one. And the right one is never wrong, and we should listen to it. If we want to be objective, we should listen to it. We will see that. And the desire, the whole problem stems and arise, if you want, from this psychic function that transforms the excitement into desire. This function is not objective. This function this is the way we are working. Our brain is not objective. Our brain is confused by the subconscious and the above conscious, and this is the over conscious, if you want. Over or above, I don't know which one should be the best. Maybe over consciousness is better than above consciousness, which is okay. So we have to listen to the both voices inside us, and because we are not fully conscious, we are half conscious of what's going on. We want something, and we close our eyes to everything else which can stop, which is blocking our desire to have this thing. It can be a good meal in a restaurant, it can be someone, it can be anything else. And this function, specific to human being, introduces an exaltation, an exaggeration in relation to reality, and this destabilized our internal harmony. Okay, and what happened? The fear of the unknown. When you have a desire, you will decide, I want it or I don't want it. So you pick up into your into your memory what happened previously among all the experiences that you had, and you try to find out something very similar to that and say, well, did I had a good satisfaction to that or not? If you had a good satisfaction, then you compare. You compare with what happened in the past, but are you really objective? When you remember how it was, you remember only the right things, the good side of the things. Do you remember every time you have been hurt? No, you remember only when you have been in a good health, in a good position. You don't remember when you have been ill, and you don't feel anymore when you are ill what happened to you. So the fear of the unknown, of the new, pushes us to look for known landmarks. So we appeal to an analogous situation already experienced, and it happens. Comparison. And comparison is, so you see why we have this problem and this inobjectivity, because we need to deliberate, we need to choose between we are doing it or we are not satisfying this desire, and if we don't, we compare with something which happened in the past, and this comparison is not objective. And at once, if it's not objective, how can you decide? You compare something you think you will have with something which was you had, but which is not similar to this. Comparison is the beginning of our problems. Okay, the comparison, the origin of the vain culp. The comparison is basically a lack of self-confidence. If you are really confident in yourself, then listen to your right voice inside of you, and you will find out what's wrong, what is right, and right away you will be able to compare correctly without any subjectivity, and you will not make any mistake. But for that you need to have a courage, because it's something difficult to say, well, it seems so attractive, so good, that I want it. Yes, I know there is some little drawbacks, but I don't want to listen to them. I don't want to hear. I don't want to take them into account. But if you don't take them into account right now, you will have to take them into account later. And later, it's too late. You have done the choice, and you now have to assume the consequences that you have created. Okay? So we compare ourselves, or we compare with something because we are afraid. We are afraid to start a new experimentation, a new adventure. And if we are afraid of making a mistake, okay, I write it twice, I'm sorry. The mistake is to be afraid. This is the major mistake. The experience, what it is necessarily positive if you can see it objectively. Because if I'm wrong, but I'm able to know that, then I will not do the error twice. To make an error, everyone is doing it, but what is wrong is to make it twice. So what I propose you is just to first of all to be confident in yourself and be ready to make any experimentation, and be objective. If it works, fine. If it doesn't work, then I will stop, and I will not regret to have done it. It's good. It's good for my experimentation, and experimentation is always, even if the result is negative, can be transformed into a positive way, because you have done this experimentation, so you will not do the mistake twice. Now here you are in the middle. You see how normally you should be, and this is how you see yourself: bigger than you are or smaller than you are. This is overestimation of yourself, underestimation of yourself, and you compare oneself to others. And I am thicker than this guy, or I'm thinner than this one. So you compare either to your imagination of yourself, either to other people. You see how often all the problems that we have is this comparison that we have all the time. Okay. So now we just apply the law: exaltation is equal to inhibition, and justification, G, is equal to repression. Repression, refoulement in French, and repression in English. So it works in both languages. It's a very close language to. You have the vain culp. The vain culp has 4 different categories, which is vanity, accusation, sentimentality, and guiltiness. And the vanity is by itself, as it is an error, it responds to the law: exaltation equal to inhibition. This means that vanity has a triumphant vanity and a vexed vanity. Sometimes you are vexed, sometimes you are arrogant, and you are triumphant. And you see that if you have one, inside of you, you have the other one. So you have both of them. So if you want to kill, to decrease your vanity, you have to oppose counter-valuation, which are pride and modest. If and this is two qualities coming from the esteem, the self confident. To be confident with yourself, you create a real love of yourself, not a vanity love, but a real love of yourself. I am proud of myself because I have the courage to see my error, and I have the courage to lead the people around me to the right direction, and this is beautiful. This is the strength. This is what we are, and what we should be always. This is difficult to have because you need to go whatever people say, whatever they think about you, whatever. It's difficult to say I have been wrong, but now I know that, and I won't do it again. So wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Now you have the category of guiltness, repressed or exalted. And to oppose to guiltness, you have to find out the confidence, which is a self-love or the certainty in life. Certainty in life is, I know where I'm going, and okay. And if you are confident in the life, you are confident in yourself and in the life itself, and you will not be guilty at all. Now you have the sentimentality. Sentimentality, you have both exaggeration towards others or exaggeration towards oneself. And the counter evaluation is kindness, which is empathy and firmness. You can, for a child who is not, he comes back to school very disappointed, very tired, and you have to take into account that for sure it has been a long day for him to listen to the professors and to do his homework now and so on. So for sure you can understand him, but it's not a reason not to ask him to have the courage to do his homework now, and maybe you can leave him for 10-15 minutes for him to recover a little bit, to take something to eat, and then to start again working a little bit, because if he works he will be happy of himself. If he doesn't do anything, if he's looking at the TV or looking at a film or playing with his joystick play on a PlayStation and so on, he won't be happy of himself. He will feel guilty. And the last one is accusation, which is also exaggeration towards other or accusation towards oneself. And accusation is a lack of patience. If you are impatient to get a result, you start accusing people. You should have done that. Why it's so long? And so on and so on. This is impatience. And now you need to oppose. Take your time. There is no hurry, and everything will be good. You can be indulgent and you can have courage. If you have that, then you can fight against accusation. Okay, now let's put that into the 4 categories. And twice. Why twice? Because you have the positive and negative always, and you see that this culpability, this is vanity, this is accusation, and this is sentimentality. Okay, and A is like other, autre, and S is like oneself. So you have accusation plus 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 minus. You see always you have one sign which is the contrary of the other one, and from this one to this one I change the plus into minus. If I change this one plus to minus, I get this one. If I change one of these, I get this one, and if I change this one, I get the vanity, and so on. So you have the opposite always in all directions. Okay, and this is why you have 2 signs, and you can try to understand the link between them both. And there is a link because it's turning inside us, and this is the cycle that we have inside us. And why is this like that? Just because we have 3 mirrors. We compare our own self to the other. I compare myself to the first guy in the metro. I can see he's stronger than me, he's more beautiful, or he's more stronger, or and so on, more intelligent, and so on. But we also compare oneself to the image of ourselves. I think I'm the best, so I compare myself to the image of what I supposed to be, and right away I create a problem. Or you can compare oneself to the image of the other, because we never know who is the other. We can even live with him for years and you will don't know him, because other people are from the external world, and I don't say that it's like object, like a table or a chair, but you don't know what's going on in their head, and you don't know who they are, and you will never know. You can guess, you can talk, you can try to know, but you will never know. He can lie because he's lying to himself. So if he lies to himself, he's lying to you. Don't worry, we are also lying to us, and this is what we should stop. We should stop lying to us. If you stop lying to yourself, then you get happy. It's at once. It's coming at the instant, at the moment when you realize that you are lying to yourself. It's unbelievable how strong can it be. And believe me, I do this work on myself, and I am strong, and nothing can stop me. And I have created a university of psychology just because I wanted it, and it's incredible for me that I have done that. Maybe I have done that for the sake of someone. Maybe I have done that for my own satisfaction. Who knows? But I've done it, and if I've done it, it's because I had a lot of courage to go against the classical way of making psychology. I wanted to discover how our brain is working, and now I'm just starting to understand how it works, and the more I understand, the more I can control myself, and this is wonderful. Believe me, it's wonderful. You feel like not very vulnerable people. You can cross the fire, you can swim under the water, you can fly above the sky, you can it's happiness always. And this is what I want you to get, and you can get it. It's possible. Okay, so now that's all, folks. Have a good evening. Bye now.